This is Gary Atensio with CNTV, and today we're in Littleton, Colorado. We're at Veritek, basically a full-service company with inventors helping inventors since 1988. I'm here with the founder and owner, Jim. Let me ask you first of all, quite a few years you have here in this industry. What got you involved?
I've always been inventing and creating as long as I can remember. And when I got into my professional life, I gravitated this direction.
Anymore with technology, it seems like it's sparking new passion for inventors out there. Are there more inventors today than there was, let's say, 30 years ago when you got started?
They're sure finding me these days a lot more than they used to. And I think a lot of it has to do with the economy, maybe. They have more time to think about, well, I have had this idea for a long time, and maybe I just need to do something with it.
Let me say this, in the late 1800s, the commissioner there said that basically everything that has been invented has probably been invented already. Quite wrong on that. How many folks do you think you've helped there in the past years?
Oh my gosh, I have no idea. A lot. And a lot of companies, every car that's manufactured has got one of my products in it. Probably 25 to 50 inventors a year, I would guess, for a small company.
Everyone says that basically everything starts with an idea, but quite honestly, that's just the starting point. There are many, many steps involved to get that out to market. Share with me some of the steps and services that you're able to provide for inventors out there.
You bet. Yeah, the idea is great, but unless they take action on it, they're not going anywhere. Biggest mistake is there's a lot of misinformation out there, so if they were to call us first, I would guide them with documenting their product very well, properly, before they do anything. So with that, we have instructions on our website how to do that. We do a lot of coaching. We've had several meetings the last couple of days, initial meetings with the inventors. We coach them, find out where they want to go with their idea, and then kind of steer and direct them in that direction. The idea is to move them forward as quickly as possible with the least amount of money, and to get them into revenue where they can make money on their idea.
Speaking of the money aspect, is it probably pretty important to investigate on the front end, make sure there's nothing out there? Quite honestly, like he says, it's better to lose on the front end than lose overall.
That's correct, and that's the second thing, is after they've started their documentation, I encourage them to do a really good internet search. We used to spend a lot of time in the library, so it's not hiring a patent attorney to do a patent search that takes precious resources and gives you, if you have a ream of notebook paper, the patent search is one sheet of that ream, where if you do a really good keyword search on the internet, you're going to find the other sheets of paper in that ream.
Obviously, people get very emotional with their baby, if you will. How important is it to have a managed approach to make sure that you are not overspending or putting it in the right areas?
It's a difference between success and failure. And it also is a big accelerator as well, to have, like you say, a managed approach, a plan.
Now, once we move along and we go into a prototype, how important is the appropriate prototype at the right time? And I know that's one of the fortes of what you guys do. Tell me about that.
Prototypes are like boats. They're a hole that you pour money into. I like seeing the inventors make their own proof of concept prototype from cardboard, foam core, packing tape. I really applaud inventors that build their first prototype. That means a lot in terms of dedication to their passion, their idea. Most people don't need a prototype you're going to take to a trade show, something that looks like a finished production part, that works like a finished production part. The most expensive of the prototypes.
A lot of steps taken before we get a successful launch out there. Obviously, the launch is important, though, because until you put it out there and make some money, basically you got to show value in it. That's the next step.
Well, that's exactly right. Until you have a product that can be put on the shelf and somebody is willing to pick it up off the shelf, carry it to the cash register, and pay for it, your idea is worthless. It sounds harsh, but the reality is if people aren't willing to pay for it, what's it worth?
I believe that, absolutely. Let me ask you, as far as, like you said, coaching earlier, kind of direct them in the right direction, how important is extended learning, even past or beyond their product as well, to ensure their success?
The extended learning is critical for someone inventing a product to stay up with what are the new technologies out there? What are the new materials out there? How can I maybe do it better today than I could have done it in 10 years ago?
So you're talking about keeping up with it, keeping modern, basically understanding your industry inside and out so you can grow with it as well. Folks, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website information. And basically, like Jim said, a lot of their information is right there. I mean, they show you all the different services they can provide for you as well. They can also see a lot of the resources as far as the affiliates they partner up with there that can help you along the road. One of the great things I seen there was a library that basically you can click on and go through and take an educational process right there on the website. Speaking of library, I know one of the books there that tell me why it's a must-have. This is that Practical Inventors book that you put together.
Good. Thanks for asking. Yeah, the Practical Inventor is a hands-on, step-by-step guide that walks you through having an idea all the way to building a revenue-generating product. It's basically 30 years of my experience condensed into an easy-to-read book that's written conversationally, like you and I are having this conversation. So it's very easy to read. It's try to make it a little bit fun, a little bit on the light side, but at the same time, very detail-oriented, very impactful, very practical.
A benchmark with intelligence.
Correct.
How important is it for folks to go through these steps as quickly as possible, as effectively as possible, and without draining their accounts while they're doing it?
Well, it's critical to move along quickly because when someone has an idea, they're not the only one that has that idea. Yeah. So there's other people with that idea or something very similar. So it's important to move it forward and get it to the market while there's a window of opportunity available, but not to rush either. Because if you rush, you make mistakes, you do things that can end up costing you more money as well.
Obviously, as an inventor, we're talking about word of caution out there. You've got to be careful who you're working with, who you're dealing with. One of the things that impressed me with you folks here is you've got a facility, a physical facility. Tell me, how does that benefit the inventor out there?
So with the facility, we now have the resources to manufacture products for the inventors. So we really are a one-stop shop.
Interesting. So we're talking about assembly line work. We're talking about even human resources as far as getting the whole thing together on the back end of it as well.
That's correct. And one of the things we've really wanted to launch, which we're in the process of now, is working with disabled American veterans. I'm a Vietnam era veteran myself. So we want to help our brothers in arms, so to speak, bringing in disabled American veterans in a vocational rehab type environment, where it benefits our clients, the people we're manufacturing for, but it also benefits our community.
Obviously, as inventors out there, they're always wanting to protect their idea. What do you guys have in place for that?
Well, the first thing that we do when they contact us is we send them our mutual non-disclosure agreement that we have them sign and return to us before we'll schedule an appointment with them. It does two things. It guarantees that whatever disclosures they make to us stays in the private venue, which is critical for preserving your international patentability. The second thing it does is it says, we promise not to steal your idea.
Once again, folks, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there, and remember that is Veritek. Their contact information is there as well. Obviously, you're not alone out there as an inventor. We're talking about inventors helping other inventors. These guys have done it for over 30 years. They bring a lot to the table as far as experience goes, and we've all heard that, you know, an idea is worth a lot of money. But quite honestly, as they teach you here, an idea executed properly is the only way to make that a reality and worth something to you as well as the community. This is Gary Atensio with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.